What's going on, everybody? It's BC9 for XYZ here, and welcome back, everybody, to Dear Esther. This is the final chapter, which means this is the final video. And, let's figure out where this game is going. Like, this has been a beautiful, I was watching back to, like, a couple of videos before, and it's like, this is a beautiful game, it's a beautiful idea, and it's very well executed in terms of, like, graphical capability and story, but it's not clear as of right now as to where the game is going to the end, and obviously that'll be answered in a second, but I'm interested to see where this game ends, or what the purpose of it is anyway. So let's continue, shall we? And continue on walking. Oh, at least we made it out. Thank God. Oh, it's nighttime now.
The Sanford Junction, headlights in your retinas. Donnelly drove a grey hatchback without a bottom. All the creatures of the tarmac rose to sing to him. All manner of symbols crudely scrawled across the cliff face of my unrest. My life reduced to an electrical diagram. All my gulls have taken flight. They will no longer roost on these outcrops. The lure of the moon over the Sanford Junction is too strong.
Okay, so we know that those symbols were painted, but by who? Also, this is the only piece of music that doesn't really fit this game very well. Now it sort of does, because the string is entered. Why are the candles here, though? It's still unanswered. Oh.
Fire and soil.
How did I not
chose
connect
fire.
that?
It seemed the more contemporary of the options, the more sanitary. I could not bear the thought of the reassembly of such a ruin. Stitching arm to shoulder and femur to hip, charting a line of thread like traffic stilled on a motorway, making it all acceptable for tearful aunts and traumatized uncles flown in specially for the occasion. Reduce to ash, mix with water, make a phosphorescent paint for these rocks and ceilings.
Alright, so this is obviously leading up to Esther's grave. And I did kind of connect that before, but it wasn't really obvious until this chapter. But on these candles, or is this just a path? Yeah, it's just helping direction to the correct way. Wow, the water and the sand as well. Oh my God, they whatever company created this game really did well with the water effects. Looks like not DNA, but chemistry. I mean, we did see a chemistry sign. Oh, there's the radio tower that we were following the whole time. More of Esther's things. Oh, jeez. That's his car, obviously, or parts of his car. Oh, dear. That's really sad. Killed by drunk driver.
There were chemical diagrams on the posters on the walls on the waiting room, It seemed appropriate at the time. Still life abstractions of the processes which had already begun to break down your nerves and your muscles in the next room. I crammed diazepam as I once crammed for chemistry examinations. I am revising my options for a long and happy life. From here, I can see my armada. I collected all the letters I'd ever meant to send to you, if I'd have ever made it to the mainland, but had instead collected at the bottom of my rucksack, and I spread them out along the lost beach. Then I took each and every one, and I folded them into boats. I folded you into the creases, and then, as the sun was setting, I set the fleet to sail. Shattered into 21 pieces, I consigned you to the Atlantic, and I sat here until I'd watched all of you sink.
Wow. Oh my God. Look at all these letters. I mean, yeah, they're gonna sink because I made of paper, but... Whoa. That's also really sad. This is a really sad game. What's up that way? Oh, let's take a look over here first. On a sudden, a light from heaven shone around him, and he fell to the ground. What's weird is you can see all these lines painted into the side of the mountain. Very odd. Very odd indeed. Oh, unless this leads to the radio tower. Which is very likely it does. The radio tower might be where his grave is. Would make sense because we've been going toward that direction the whole game.
I will drag my leg behind me. I will drag it like a crumpled hatchback, tires blown and sparking across the dimming lights of my vision. I'm running out of painkillers and am following the flicker of the moon home. When Paul keeled over dead on the road to Damascus, they restarted his heart with the jump leads from a crumpled hatchback. It took 21 attempts to convince it to wake up.
Oh, never mind. So we're not going there. It looks like that's his grave right there. And if it is, that's a very nice place. That's a beautiful, beautiful way or place to play.
I've begun my voyage in a paper boat without a bottom. I will fly to the moon in it. I've been folded along a crease in time, a weakness in the sheet of life. Now you've settled on the opposite side of the paper to me. I can see your traces in the ink that soaks through the fiber, the pulped vegetation. When we become waterlogged and the cage disintegrates, we will intermingle. When this paper aeroplane leaves the cliff edge and casts parallel vapor trails in the dark, we will come together.
Wow. Maybe it is the radio tower. Still, there's something up here I want to see. So wait a minute, did anyone else notice a statue? Wow. Okay, so that's the whole entire path. What a view, man. Wow. And as he was proceeding on his journey, and was come near something. I can't read that. And he was
If only Donnelly had experienced this, he would have realized he was his own shoreline, as am I. Just as I am becoming this island, so he became his syphilis, retreating into the burning synapses, the stones, the infection.
Also, is it just me, or did it just get much darker? Go down or something? I don't even know. Probably not. It's probably just my imagination. See what's over here first.
Bent back like a nail, like a hangnail, like a drowning man clung onto the wheel, drunk and spiraled, washed onto the lost shore under a moon as fractured as a shattered wing. We cleave, we are flight and suspended, these wretched painkillers, this form inconstant. I will take flight, I will take flight.
It's like a World War II bunker. They have achieved so much with nature with this game. Watch your step. This whole thing ran pretty smoothly too. This is what I'm talking about when I say that some games can't run at 60 frames a second on my computer. It's so weird. This one ran very smoothly throughout the entire game, though.
Blind with panic, deaf with the roar of the caged traffic, heart stopped on the road to Damascus, Paul sat at the roadside hunched up like a gull, like a bloody gull. As useless and as doomed as a syphilitic cartographer, a dying goat herd, an infected leg, a kidney stone, blocking the traffic bound for Sanford and Exeter. He was not drunk, Esther. He was not drunk at all. All his roads and his tunnels and his paths led inevitably to this moment of impact. This is not a recorded natural condition. He should not be sat there with his chemicals and his circuit diagrams. He should not be sat there at all.
God, what a view, though, huh? amazed. Again, I gotta look and see what game engine this was made in.
We will leave twin vapor trails in the air, white lines etched into these rocks. Dear Esther, I have burnt my belongings, my books, this death certificate. Mine will be written all across this island. Who was Jakobsen? Who remembers him? Donnelly has written of him, but who was Donnelly? Who remembers him? I have painted, carved, hewn, scored into this space all that I could draw from him. There will be another to these shores to remember me. I will rise from the ocean like an island without bottom, come together like a stone, become an aerial, a beacon, that they will not forget you. We have always been drawn here. One day the gulls will return and nest in our bones and our history. I will look to my left and see Esther Donnelly flying beside me. I will look to my right and see Paul Jakobsen flying beside me. They will leave white lines carved into the air to reach the mainland, where help will be sent. Come back.
Wow. I don't know if you've noticed at the very end there was a reflection of our shadow on the ground, and it was of a bird. So that makes you question, what were we? The whole game makes you question, what were we? Were we a spirit? Were we a ghost? Were we a physical being of this world that turned into a spirit? Was the bird a metaphor for the main character taking flight and rejoining Esther, metaphorically, of course, because we all know that what would really happen if you jumped off that radio tower? A lot of questions, a lot up for interpretation too. And that's what I really, really like about games like this sometimes, is that they just leave things open for you to really interpret for whatever, basically interpret yourself as to what happened. But, all right. That's Dear Esther, everyone. I am truly amazed at this game. This game accomplished graphically more than some AAA games accomplish graphically in the short span of an hour, and about a little bit more than an hour. And I know that there's a lot less going on in this game, which is probably why they could do that, but for it to run so smoothly at 60 frames a second and have it be that pristine and beautiful is just truly a remarkable feature. Maybe with Unity, okay? Maybe with Unity. The Unity engine doesn't usually look this good, so that's impressive. But anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching. To the developers of this game, you did an awesome job. Make more games like this. Make more games. This is truly unbelievable. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching Dear Esther, and I'll see you guys in the next gameplay walkthrough. Take